So I saw this post on Twitter. It says, what are your top 3 favorite Beatle albums from the great run of 1965 through 69, picture below. And I want to say that I guess they forgot to include Magical Mystery Tour, but that was a great album. You know, they were able to put Strawberry Fields Forever, Penny Lane, Blue Jay Way. Those are great songs. And so, you know, that was missed, but I remember that album. And so if I have to give you like my honest top 3 kind of in like replay value and just like personal favorites, and I know that this is going to be controversial, I would definitely say Rubber Soul is among my favorites on this list. And yeah, I feel like this is their career kind of starting to get a little bit more psychedelic and everything. I love the album cover and kind of the story behind that. And basically the album cover was an accident. So that was kind of interesting. But some of my favorite songs, I absolutely love Michelle. I think that that's an excellent song. The Word is very underrated. People should talk about that a little bit more. I just love the sound that they were able to get on that guitar and how it is on the record. If I Needed Someone is absolutely excellent. Nowhere Man was a great song as well. Norwegian Wood is a great song. John Lennon ain't shit, and he in hell, but that's a great song. I'll give 10s where 10s are due. And if you didn't know, that song's actually about an affair. Yeah, he was having on his wife at the time with Yoko Ono, and he was like, how can I write this into a song? And so that's what Norwegian Wood is. And then In My Life was an amazing record. I like Drive My Car a lot. I thought that was fun. I thought that there was some pretty decent contributions to this. I don't like the last song. I believe it was Run For Your Life. I think they said they needed one more song for this album, and so that was the last one, but I don't really like that song just because of the messaging and stuff like that there. That's why I said John Lennon Hell. And then the song that Ringo had, I believe was What Goes On. Who really cares about Ringo's songs on albums? Let's be for real. But overall, I thought that this was a really good album, especially for the time. It's kind of one of my favorite Beatles albums. And then if I have to pick another favorite for me, I would also have to give it to the White Album. And I've said this before, but just all the different soundscapes that they had, they were very much ahead of their time. You know, Back to USSR was absolutely incredible. Helter Skelter, which the story behind that is Paul McCartney heard a song by The Who, I believe it was called I Can See for Miles, and he was like, well, I can make a harder song than that, because they're basically saying it was like the hardest, you know, rock song of all time, or something like that. And so that's kind of how they made Helter Skelter, which was an incredible record. So I love that one, Blackbird, about the civil rights movement. I appreciate it, especially for the time as somebody who is, you know, half black. I appreciated that song a lot. Mother Nature's Son was incredible. I like Piggies a lot. People always talk about While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I think that song's kind of overrated, but I digress. But I always liked Piggies a lot on this album. He also had Long, Long, Long. John had Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except for Me and My Monkey, which I feel like is a underrated gem on that album. Julia was beautiful. Dear Prudence. I mean, yeah, there's just so much to pull from. Just the soundscapes that they had on here. You had the acoustic, you had the country, you had the rock. There was just so many cool soundscapes on here. And just to see all their songwriting shine through, I thought it was cool. You know, I really like this album. And also, Obladi Oblada. I can't believe I forgot about that song. But I tend to like Paul's Granny songs. No, I'm in the minority with that. But just the different soundscapes that this album had, and it being a double album and all the stuff, definitely one of the best double albums ever. So I have a lot of love for the White Album. And then my third pick, I would probably have to give it to Sgt. Pepper's. You know, Abbey Road is an incredible album, not taking anything away from that. I probably like Sgt. Pepper's a little bit more and everything. But that's just kind of me splitting hairs. If you put Abbey Road here, I could certainly get it. But Sgt. Pepper's Within You Without You was an amazing contribution from George. I like Paul's Granny songs like I was saying before. So we had When I'm 64, Lovely Read on this album. There's also really great stuff on here like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Fixing a Hole, She's Living Home, Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite. A very strong album in my opinion. Not to mention the collaboration that Paul and John had on A Day in the Life. So there was a lot to like on this album for me. And yeah, like I said, I like Abbey Road a lot too. Definitely one of their best albums. I probably just like these three a little bit more. I probably played them a little bit more, but Abbey Road is no slouch, obviously. You know, Oh Darling is one of my favorite Beatles songs, of course. You had the medley on this. Come Together is a fan favorite, something, one of George Harrison's, you know, most beloved songs. So I think there's a lot to like there. In terms of Revolver, I kind of think you guys overrate Revolver, but, you know, there's still good moments on here. Here, There, and Everywhere is an immaculate contribution from Paul McCartney. He also had Eleanor Rigby on this album. And yeah, I really enjoyed that album. I mean, I think it's decent, but I think that you guys overrated Industry. And Help, yeah, I feel like it's kind of the worst album here. So if I had to rank these albums kind of like objectively, kind of trying to take like favorites out of it, I would say Abbey Road is probably the best album here. And then I would have Sgt. Pepper's at 2, and then the White Album at 3, at 4, Rubber Soul, at 5, Revolver, at 6, Help. If I did it by favorites, then I personally would have Rubber Soul at 1. Honestly, it might be my favorites out of these, but in my own ranking, it's kind of different. But honestly, for me, I'd probably have Rubber Soul at number 1. Number 2, I'll probably give it to the White Album. Number 3, I would say Sgt. Pepper's. Number 4, I would say Abbey Road. Number 5, I would say Revolver. And number 6, I would say Help. But yeah, I mean, Help had some really good songs on here as well. Yesterday is obviously iconic, and there's some good moments there. But yeah, it's probably like the worst out of all 4 of them, but it's not bad of them. But let me know what you guys think down below. What are your top 3 favorites? And also, how do you rank these albums down below? And let's continue that conversation. And if you want to see more videos on the Beatles and Paul McCartney, hopefully on the end screen I'll have some of my Beatles videos. You guys can check that out. But if you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.